Good evening to you all. It is a Monday night, a very special Monday night here in Central Illinois. We're on the northern part of the state. We're here at Rochelle Township High School, one game away from state for the Washington Panthers and the Sterling Golden Warriors. Thank you all for tuning in. Glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. I'm Jonathan Michael. Alongside me is Jeff Little. And Jeff, I mean, what a season it's been for both of these teams. Both historic seasons for both squads, and fortunately only one of them is going to be able to go to state.
Absolutely. At this point in the year, I was talking to Coach Hersey before the game, the assistant, and he goes, sometimes you can win a regional based on your matchups and who maybe an injury or something, you can sneak a regional win. And he goes, you never sneak winning a sectional, and you certainly never get to a super sectional, game if you're not super talented. And both these teams fit that bill.
Most definitely. They come in after winning sectional titles. Washington's first since 2014. Sterling is looking for their first state trip since 1983. How about this, Jeff? This is the number one fun fact I learned before this one. The last time these two teams faced off in the playoffs, at least we believe, the last time that they were in the state titles, Sterling actually played Washington in the 1977 state title game. That was Washington's last state appearance. It shows how generational
Absolutely.
These two seasons are.
I think as a kid, I remember going to that game at Horton Fieldhouse
Really?
on ISU's campus. That's where it was held, and an exciting time for the city of Washington, and Sterling too, I'm sure. So, a matchup for revenge.
Most definitely. Well, if you were alive for that last matchup, well, props to you. You get to see another one here tonight, or listen to it here again. Audio-only coverage tonight due to NFHS Network restrictions. So while we unfortunately can't bring you video, we will bring you all the audio and describe what we're seeing as best as we can. Teams warming up right now. Sterling, I should say, right in front of us. It's another Western Big Six team. Washington played one earlier in the sectionals against Galesburg. Sterling, though, 30-5 on the year, 13-1 in the Western Big Six. Washington, 34-1 on the year, 13-1 in the Mid-Illini Conference. And Jeff, we'll start with Washington. Obviously, the sectional title at Ottawa. Close game against Morton most of the way. They actually had a 13-0 lead before it kind of evaporated, but then they pulled away in the end.
Yeah, and you just know what you're going to get when you play a team the quality of Morton. They're going to battle back, and they're going to stay in the game and give you a run right down to the end, and that's exactly what you had in that sectional championship. So, well tested. The Panthers obviously come in here with having played a very, very tough schedule, throughout the year. So, both teams will be well ready for this one.
Most definitely. And Sterling comes in after a sectional title win over Dixon. That was a very good Duchess's team. They beat a little bit more of a defensive game. They won 39-30 in their sectional title. Washington won 60-50 against Morton. Looking a little bit at the Golden Warriors, we'll talk more about them as the game goes along, but the name that stands out immediately is Madison Austin, a 6'3" senior forward who's had double-doubles in 3 straight games. This matchup, very much like Morton, could be decided in the post.
Well, I think both of these, one of the things the Panthers, when you look at their lineup, they don't have a 6'3", but they have a lot of girls that are all close to the same size. So, sometimes you can battle that size difference when you all have that length and do things to maybe make it tough to even get it down to the post.
Most definitely. Becca McDougall, Danny Gadea has been a great duo for Washington in the playoffs, as has Avery Tibbs. She has been on another level for the Panthers. Over 24 points per game in the playoffs. She put up 26, I believe, in that last sectional game against Morton, and started off with a career-high 30 against Metamora. So she has been on fire for Washington. And they got the four-headed monster alongside Adrian Donald, too, as well. We'll bring in starters here in just a second, but for now, we'll turn it over to the public address for the national anthem here as the fans rise to their feet here at Rochelle Township High School. Right back after this. And there's, you hear all the fans here that have packed inside. Again, Rochelle Township High School getting set to get going here for tip-off in just a few minutes between Washington and Sterling. We'll try and paint the picture here for you. This is my first time here in Rochelle's gym. And interesting note about this gym, we're in the bleachers on the north side. On the south side is all box seats. They're all purple. You can barely even tell, though, because just about all of them are full.
They're full, exactly right.
But a very nice gym here in Rochelle. Again, a lot of purple in here. The Hubs, it's their home gym. 2 hours, or maybe a little less than 2 hours or so away from Washington. A little bit closer for Sterling, who has brought a large fan contingent. I'd say it's about 60-65% Sterling fans in here, and they have a big section behind that far basket. So a lot of Golden Warriors fans, and also lots of loyal Washington Panthers fans here too.
Absolutely. You know, fans at this point in the year, they all travel well, no matter where you're from. And short trip over on 88 for the fans from Sterling. I'm sure they made the trip pretty quickly.
Most definitely. Their starting lineup being introduced right now. It goes like this. A 5'5 junior guard, Jalen James. A Western Big Six honorable mention. She's joined by a 5'7 senior guard, Delali Amankawa. And also, again, we mentioned Madison Austin, the 6'3 senior forward, co-conference player of the year, Jocelyn James, a 5'3 sophomore guard. And rounding it out for the Golden Warriors is Nia Harris, a 5'7 sophomore guard. Washington starting lineup. If you're a Panthers fans, you're pretty familiar with this starting five. It's Avery Tibbs, Becca McDougall, Adrian Donald, Mazzy O'Brien, and Danny Gooday for the Panthers. A lot of orange and black fans here on their feet. A lot of other local media here making the trip. Our friends over at WMBD are here. Matt Dayoff from the Journal-Star. So, I mean, this has really just been a really captivating season for Washington. I mean, I think a lot of people know and have known for a long time that this could be the year that Washington breaks the drought for state. They got 32 minutes of high-pressure basketball standing in between them and Normal.
Well, I think the schedule that Coach Barth and the Panthers put together this year was meant to get them ready for games like this. And, you know, we'll see, because I don't know that the Panthers really have run up against this kind of size during the year. So we'll see what kind of strategy they've got, and hope keeping out of foul trouble will obviously be a key for tonight. Most
definitely. It'll be O'Brien standing at 5'9", and Austin at 6'3", ready to tip it off. We are underway. Super sectional basketball here in Rochelle, and the Golden Warriors win the tip. They work right to left. They're in navy blue and gold road jerseys. Opening three ball was off the mark there from Jalen James, and rebounded by McDougall, who pushes it up to Gooday, dribbling in, stepping back, thought about a three. This gym is already very loud. It's O'Brien at the top of the key. She's guarded by one of the two James. That's Jocelyn. Slightly shorter and 1 year younger. Tibbs, a floater off
left
the backboard.
Hand. Good drive, give and go at the high post, cut back door, nice pass.
Tibbs gets it to go off the glass, and that'll give Washington the early advantage. They never trailed against Morton. Although they were tied, they had their lead challenged multiple times. They never trailed. The floater in the lane on the other end was no good from Amankawa. Austin nearly got a hand on it, but it went off of a Panther. It'll stay with Sterling.
Amankawa has drawn the assignment on Tibbs early here, so she'll have her hands full on that end and handling the ball on this end. That'll make for a long night. Tough place to get it inbounded there, far deep in the corner. Amankawa kind of...
And they get a jump ball. The arrow will favor the Panthers.
Yeah, that was a tough angle to inbound that deep in the far corner over there, and they made that long pass, and Amankawa kind of got tied up there, and the possession goes to the Panthers.
I just realized, Jeff, I looked down at my spotting board. It is Amankwa. I think I added an extra A in there. Delali Amankwa, 5'7", senior guard for Sterling. She's not one of their main scorers, but could be a factor. Here's Gooday at the elbow. Hand off to McDougall, who hands off to Tibbs. A little bit of a double team on her pass. Gooday, corner three, came up a bit short.
That's one of the things the Panthers, you know, we talked about them maybe being, quote, undersized, but Danny Gooday can score from a lot of places on the court, and she's going to make Austin come out away from the basket to guard her.
I think that's a great point. We might see G'day really try and shoot it and open up the paint more, maybe for McDougal or some slashers like O'Brien. Here's a three on the other end. That's short. Sterling still looking for their first field goal. McDougal the board, pushes it up. Tibbs on the left side, dump off. Donald, not enough mustard on that layup. Second one was blocked by Austin.
Great pass by Avery Tibbs. Gave it pretty unselfish, gave it up. Sure, Adrian will make the next one.
So now here's Nia Harris driving in on Donald, matching up the two number 10s. Austin push on McDougal, tried to use that height to her advantage, but kind of tilted her body a little bit over McDougal's back, and that way it will call for the
Becca
foul.
McDougal did a great job checking out, and that's all you can do is put yourself in a position to get a rebound and make it tough for them to come up with one and draw a foul. That's key for the Panthers.
Glad you're with us here again on ClutchSportsIL.com or YouTube channel. Nice broadcast proudly sponsored by Domino's. Washington working with it, trying to get a two-score lead here. They turn it over. It's Harris coming away with it for Sterling. She drives in on the right side on Tibbs. Austin, a little bit of a double team, kicks it over. Three ball on the way and also short. That one coming from Jalen James, the junior guard. Her first miss. Now it's Tibbs. On the other end, Panthers going right in front of the Golden Warriors student section. O'Brien, jump shot from the free throw line, no good. Good looks for both squads, but only one shot has gone down. It pass up the floor, bounces off of G'day. It's Sterling ball as Redling Schaefer comes in.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a tough shooting gym, as you described it. The ends are open, kind of like at the Pekin Gymnasium,
yep.
You know, where you've got that big open spot. Not a lot of high school gyms have this kind of setting. So both teams will probably have to adjust a little bit. A lot of shots are falling short here.
And three chances, no good for Sterling. I think that was Austin who kind of put up a little bit floater, came up short. Then James got the board, put it up. Barely grazed the rim, but it goes off of a Panther. Yep. Sterling's about, I would estimate, 0 for 6, 0 for 7 to start this one.
Yeah, and the Panthers doing a good job in this zone defense.
Up top here, it's Amankwa, and we get a double dribble. Unforced error there on the Golden Warriors. I definitely think that, both these teams have played in a lot of big games. They know how good they are, but you don't really know how your team's going to respond or come out in a super sectional until you're in there. I think These teams are getting acclimated to this type of environment.
Absolutely. I mean, you know you're ready. You know you've played in a lot of games and practiced so many times, but at the same time, it's still one of those, until you get out there and do it, you don't know how your kids are going to respond.
Hand off from Tibbs to G'day, a mid-range shot. She buries it.
Good movement by the Panthers. Little ball screen, dribble, handoff. G'day. There we talked about her movement, not necessarily being strictly a post player against Austin tonight, but coming off there, a little 12, 15-footer, knocks it down.
A good look there from the 5'11 junior forward. Again, her and McDougal, the two tallest Panthers, and Austin's at 6'3". Here's a look in the post. Harris couldn't get it to go. Board tapped out. Panthers, Tibbs pushing in transition. She had it taken away. Was expecting to foul, but didn't get it. Now Jocelyn James up ahead to Harris. She traveled before she got it up. I think she might have got called for a foul, but she traveled before that shot went up.
Took a little hop, bobbled on the catch. Nice diagonal pass. You had to go through several sets of hands, and sometimes as a person receiving that, you don't always know that it's going to get there cleanly, and it did, and kind of cost herself a turnover there.
Golden Warriors a little bit frazzled right now here in the first 4 minutes, still looking for their first bucket. Meanwhile, Washington sets up the offense. It's O'Brien, tightly guarded, pass over G'day, corner three on the way. It's nothing but net. Timeout, Sterling.
Great start by the Panthers. We talked about Danny G'day's versatility, and they're going to probably have to make some type of change there because Austin's having to come so far away from the basket to guard her.
And Sterling, again, still looking for their first field goal. They've gotten some looks down near the bucket, but just haven't got them to go. Credit the post defense for Washington. And again, a hot start, and that's exactly what you want to see because G'day has been stretching the floor. She's knocked down that mid-range and that corner three, both on the same side of the floor. Not sure she maybe favors the right side more than the left, but either way, a strong start.
We've seen her enough during the season that she's good on both sides. That won't be a problem for her.
Most definitely. G'day comes in averaging 11.8 in the playoffs. And this Washington team, a big key for them, especially on defense, is holding opponents to under 50. It's been their bread and butter most of the year. And when they allow opponents to get more than 50, they can maybe be in a close game. If they can hold them under 50, it's good news because they just have been so strong scoring the ball all season long.
Well, the Panthers' versatility on offense, I mean, I would imagine that Coach Barth's team has probably had at least 4 different kids be the leading scorer this year. Yes, Avery Tibbs is a marked on the roster every game, but it's not always just her. Other kids can score in the 20s pretty easily for this team.
And for Sterling, again, most of their offensive production as they get an offensive board. A shot there was no good, and offensive rebounded. Pass and kick out. Their main scorer, again, is Austin, who has averaged over 20 a game in the playoffs. If it's not her, it's usually Jocelyn James.
Panthers doing a good job kind of front and backing her.
Driving in, Amakwa can't get the layup to go. Lid is still in the basket, but she saves it, kicks out. James 3, she got it and holds the finish. The bucket has finally opened for Sterling.
Breaks the scoring drought, but it's just one of those that the Panthers giving up way too many second chances.
Yeah, Sterling has got some offensive boards. Gadea threw on the other end. Was an air ball. So now Sterling will try to reset. They pass it. Austin triple teamed. Now James thought about it, driving in, and she traveled with it. So now that's, I count, 1 double dribble and 2 travels so far on the Golden Warriors.
Well, you're exactly right. The ball did go inside to Austin there, and then she had 2 and 3 defenders, and she made the smart decision. Skip pass across, just got a 1 extra step for a travel.
Great environment here again in Rochelle. There, as we alluded to earlier, there are pretty much full bleacher sections behind each basket. There's a lot of fans, almost completely packed on Sterling's side, the site where Washington is shooting at right now, where Redling-Schaefer has it around the corner. Here's O'Brien kicking in. McDougal in the post, one-on-one matchup. She lays it in off the glass.
Good high-low entry there from Mazzy O'Brien. Gets it inside McDougal, uses her post skills, and gets a basket for the Panthers.
And McDougal will take the one-on-one matchup most any day of the week. Pass back and forth. Amankwa 3 is way off the mark. That one didn't touch anything. Here's Tibbs the other direction. Pass over. O'Brien had to save it. Now over to McDougal, and Harris, I believe it was, got a bit too antsy and went over the back. That's going to be a foul number 2 on Sterling.
Great job of Panthers running the floor. McDougal gets herself to the post, and they get it inside. The defender was just trailing enough that made it tough and draws a foul.
McDougal sets his screen on Tibbs. She drives in right on Austin. I think she deflected that one or altered it.
She did alter it, that's for sure. She didn't get a piece of it. She definitely made her change the shot.
Halftime of our other game that we're broadcasting, audio only, also on our website and our YouTube channel, Peoria Notre Dame and Stillman Valley. It's 31-21 PND at the half. You can also tune in and listen to that one. Owen Dimple on the call. 3-ball on the way is good from Olivia Gibson. Off the bench, getting a big boost for Sterling. So the corner 3 goes down, and it's back to a 3-score game. McDougal driving baseline, kicking out. Good day. A shot fake. O'Brien, top of the key. Redling-Schaefer thought about a triple. She passed it up. She drives, kicks. O'Brien, top of the key. 3, got it.
Good ball movement by the Panthers. Very unselfish. Redling-Schaefer saw Austin coming across. Didn't have to take a tough shot. Found the open point. 3-pointer for O'Brien.
So the two teams trade threes. Deep 3 on the way there from Jocelyn James. Another offensive board. That's Austin. She still has not scored. And off of a Golden Warrior there on the board. And he'll go back to Washington. So Austin's height, I think, is definitely being a factor on the glass right now. Washington could do a bit better job of boxing out, but Austin is always in there. If she's not going to grab it, she's going to at least try and tap it towards the teammate.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and it's one of those situations where for the Panthers, force Tibbs to pick up her dribble across half court.
And we get a travel there on Redling-Schaefer. Back to Sterling and back to your point.
No, I mean, and it's a situation where she's going to be tough to box out one-on-one, but the Panthers in this zone defense, one of the hard things in a zone sometimes is you're not responsible for checking out one person. It may be one person one trip, it may be another person in another location on another trip. So the Panthers got to do a better job on that part of the game.
Another 3-ball, deep one on the way from Jalen James is no good. Off of Gibson and back to Washington. The Golden Warriors fans don't like it, but that one happened. Usually the broadcasters don't have the best view of it, but that one we did.
That one we had a good angle.
That one we had a great angle, and that was back to Washington. McDougal and Gaudet going back and forth. Deep 2 from Gaudet is off the mark. She's missed her last 2 after burying her first 2. Under a minute to play here at Rochelle. Glad you're with us here again. 3 ball on the way. A mock one, nothing but net. 3 triples for the Golden Warriors, and they're within 3 again. Tibbs, baseline drive, finds a cutting Redling Schaefer. Beautiful play.
Yeah, that's one of the underrated parts of her game. She's so good with the ball and such a good scorer. I don't know that she gets the credit for the passes that she makes.
Austin will shoot a teardrop 3, front rimmed and no good. McDougal corrals the board. Washington has time for a shot. It's Gaudet, pulled up from way downtown. And no good. That is not the shot you wanted. There was 3 or 4 seconds left.
Yeah, she probably had another dribble or two, maybe didn't realize quite how much time was left, but that was taken right in front of us, and it looked like it was right on line.
So that will do it for the first quarter here of action. 14-9 is the score. Again, want to thank our great sponsors, Domino's, for sponsoring this game, and want to let you know that they just debuted their Parmesan stuffed crust pizza. You can get a mix and match deal for now for $6.99. Get mix and match 2 different items, all sorts of different things. You can also add the Parmesan stuffed crust for an extra $4 as well if you want to try that out. So again, go visit Domino's.com. Want to thank them so much for their partnership here with us during the postseason. It's going to be a big week of action here, Jeff. Obviously, we got girls supers here today. We got sectionals back at Washington on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the title on Friday. We got state, fingers crossed, for at least for the area teams on Thursday and most likely Saturday. So,
well, it is it is that time of the year where you get your basketball fix every night at some level, at some point.
And we'll get our fix started here as Sterling's got the ball down by 5. Gibson drove in and got fouled. It's the first shooting foul on either squad tonight. The guilty party was Adrian Donald.
So a little bit of a change there. The Golden Warriors put Austin at the high post, kind of a 1-4 high. When she caught it at the high post, she immediately threw to the opposite corner, weak side. And there it was Gibson attacking on the dribble when she caught that skip pass.
And Gibson knocks down the first. Sets for the second. It is up and short. Clanks off the front rim. A little bit under-rotated right there. As here's now Tibbs finding O'Brien. She was left open for a second but didn't shoot it. Redling Schaefer back out to Gaudet. Driving in on Austin, and she got blocked. The 6'3" junior forward stuffs her. Tibbs, offensive board. Her 3 is no good on a feed from O'Brien, and it's Sterling the other way.
Good possession by the Panthers. Got a couple good looks. A good block by Austin, and the Panthers recovered. Another good look for Tibbs. And
so after a little bit of a cold start from the field for Sterling, they're starting to get it back a little bit more. Hook shot there from Harris. Hit the backboard, but not the rim. O'Brien feeds it up to Tibbs. Boy, these up-court passes for Washington have been really killer as Redling Schaefer knocks down a mid-range shot. She's got 4.
That's usually not a part of the game you see Ainsley taking advantage of, but I think the Golden Warriors say, hey, don't guard her, leave her open, and she proves she can make it if you're not going to at least get a hand up on her.
And again, another possession as James puts up a floater and knocks it down, so there's the response for Sterling, but especially off of a miss, Washington's been really aggressive, pushing the ball up the floor and getting those outlet passes. As O'Brien hands off, Redling Schaefer dribbles into the lane, kicks out, Tibbs corner 3, too long. McDougal, the ball went off of her back, she didn't even know it, and Gaudet brings it in. Cross-court pass, dangerous one, and picked off. She was looking for Redling Schaefer.
Good play on defense there by James on the weak side.
3 ball on the other way is no good. Jalen James, air ball. She tries again off the offensive board. That one's off to the right. Jalen James had a tough night shooting the ball so far. It's a couple misses for her, and it's Tibbs with the board.
You know, that possession, the Panthers did a good job of boxing out, but at the same time, you still got to go after the ball. It's not just check out, go after it.
Here's the 3 ball on the way from O'Brien off the mark.
Good skip pass out of the post, and O'Brien had a good look at a 3.
Game has had lots of pace to it so far, and this is, I think it favors Washington, a team that likes to get out and play fast. Nice cut from Austin, but the pass was deflected. That ball goes off of the foot of Harris when it touched the hardwood, and it goes back to the Panthers.
So what the Golden Warriors have done with that double high post, when the ball goes to one side, the opposite high post person will dive to the block. Well, both times early it's gone to Austin's side. That time it went to the opposite side. It went to Harris, and that'll be a problem for the Panthers. They'll have to make an adjustment to guard that.
O'Brien drove and had it stripped. Sterling the other way with James. Tried to jump up and pass it, but the pass was stuffed. Don't know if you count that as a block in the stat sheet, but that'll turn it over back to Washington. McDougal. Good day in the corner, right in front of the Sterling cheerleaders, also making the trip. Now over to Redling Schaefer. Golden Warriors have been right in Washington's grill a lot of these possessions. This is a well-coached defensive team. G'day, shot fakes, drives in, kicks out. McDougal, back to G'day, left wide open.
Nice job by the Panthers. Very unselfish, good ball movement.
That was a wonderful play there drawn up, and Sterling got caught miscommunicating. They put two defenders floated out and left G'day wide open on the baseline.
But again, like we talked about, the versatility of the Panthers, because you've got McDougal and G'day who can shoot that, two defenders come out on those girls on the wing, and leaves G'day wide open for a nice pass back and a ball to the basket.
Shot from the free throw line from Sterling's Nia Harris was no good. Bounced off the attachment and over the backboard. So it's a 6-point Washington lead. They got the ball. 4:26 to go here in the second quarter of a fast-moving IHSA Class 3A Super Sectional.
Adrian Donald back in. Jenna Spezio in here for the Panthers. A little bit of a rest for O'Brien and Redling Schaefer here.
Yeah, they have certainly been playing hard. It's our first look at Spezio tonight. McDougal gives it to Tibbs, guarded by Amankwa on the perimeter. Tibbs drove in. They whistled a foul before she put up a shot. And I think they're going to call that
on the ground, yeah.
On the floor. So it'll be Panthers inbound with Tibbs on the baseline. G'day jets out into the corner. Now feeds Spezio. Around the perimeter. Donald back to Tibbs, opposite corner, and we are going to get... I didn't see the call there, but a turnover on Washington.
Yeah, I think they're going to get McDougal for a screen. I don't know. I mean, that's probably one that their coach has been saying, hey, they're setting illegal screens, but yet, when you're getting grabbed and held as you come off of every screen, your teammates try to do a little bit more to get you open, and maybe a little bit too much that time.
So it's Golden Warrior ball. Donald playing tough defense on Jocelyn James in the corner. She's got 5. Shot put up and no good by Amankwa. It was a tough off-balance baseline look. McDougal over to Tibbs.
Again, a little more versatility from the Panthers. McDougal gets a rebound and can handle the ball. G'day can put it on the floor. There's not a primary ball handler. Yeah, you might say it's Tibbs and O'Brien, but at the same time, those other girls bring the ball up the court all the time for the Panthers.
Yeah, we haven't really seen Austin bring it up much for Sterling. 3 ball on the way from McDougal. Did a full 360 on the rim before spinning out. Golden Warriors the other way. Pass up to Gibson. She drives baseline. It's cut off, and it's going to be a foul on McDougal. Here with 3:10 to go in the second.
That'll be her second, so that'll be key here for the Panthers, whether she can stay in the game and play with 2.
And we'll get O'Brien and Redling Schaefer back into the game as McDougal and Spezio come out. Washington's led all the way so far. Sterling started cold from the field and has gotten some big threes from Olivia Gibson, Delali Amankwa, Jocelyn James, who almost made another one. That one's off the mark. Golden Warriors going for more of a perimeter-focused approach on offense. As O'Brien, a tough shot. Threw it up as she was spinning around, trying to get a foul. That's the travel.
Yeah, trying to make a little spin move in the lane, and they kind of got tied up and lost her balance. They call it travel.
So it's been a defensive-focused second quarter here so far. Washington just 4 points in this frame. Sterling with just 3. Pass over in the corner. Gibson's 3 ball off to the left. And a good box out there by G'day. Austin, again, Western Big Six co-MVP of the year. She has not really been a big factor, at least so far. G'day driving in. Pass to O'Brien, O'Donnell rather, kicked off of her ankle. She picks it back up. She directs traffic, sends O'Brien over to the right corner. Gade spins around, cross court. O'Brien, top of the key, Redling Schaefer, three is no dice. Rebounded there by Austin.
Good ball movement, maybe a little more patience by the Panthers here in these last couple of minutes, especially with McDougal on the bench with her second foul.
So Sterling will shoot another three. Jocelyn James says, hey,
deep three.
Got to keep on shooting. You can't make them if you stop shooting. And she's cut into a 3-point game here, under 2 minutes to play. That one was a deep one for sure. Panthers trying to get something going on offense. O'Brien, a well-rotated three, but that one came up off the mark, and Sterling's got a chance to tie it up. James gets a screen, driving in. Shot from the elbow, bounces off the rim, and a good board there from O'Brien, who's outnumbered.
Well, and she did a good job. That's what we were talking about earlier. You know, she didn't just check out. She checked out, and she went and got the ball. Donald misses a little jump shot from the block, and here come the Warriors right back.
Slightly panicked shot there maybe from O'Donnell, as Jocelyn James, who's just been an energizer bunny for Sterling, drives in and gets fouled. You see her kind of there lean over, catch her breath. She has been going full throttle here, and why not? Season's on the line. Donald will check out for Washington. That's the fourth on Washington, first on O'Brien. So Sterling will shoot the remainder of this second quarter. It will be, looks like Amankwa to trigger the inbound, looking for somebody. Gets it into Jocelyn James. Kick out, back to Amankwa. Dribbling around the perimeter, Redling Schaefer on her. Redling Schaefer takes a tumble. Good ball movement here from Sterling. Natalie Ettinger into the game for the Golden Warriors, and there's the
Austin.
First bucket for Austin.
Austin in the post. McDougal had to be a little careful to not draw a foul, and she gets it up over Danny Gade.
That was a good awareness there from Austin. Knowing McDougal can't play too aggressive. Tibbs shot fakes, drives in, and gets fouled by Natalie Ettinger again, who only played 1 minute off the bench in their sectional title against Dixon. The 6'1 senior forward getting some minutes, and also a foul to go with it. Tibbs will shoot two.
She's in. She gives them a little bit more of a second post presence, a little bit more of another big body on the defensive end mainly.
So Tibbs will shoot some hostile free throws, knocks down the first. She's got 3 points so far. Again, Sterling students showing out in force tonight. Pink out for them. Tibbs' first free throw rimmed all the way around and in, and the second one also grabs a touch of the iron and goes down. 2017 Panthers. Here's Harris. What you don't want now if you're Washington is give up another big three. Sterling's been very trigger happy behind the arc so far. They feed Austin. She can't hang on to it. Tibbs has it.
That was a tough catch with 2 people around her like that.
Washington bench looking to stretch the floor, they said, and Tibbs took a hard fall. It looks to be okay. Drove in there on the left side, and she got hacked.
They are making it very, very tough for her on the perimeter, but the Panthers are doing a good job kind of using her as a ball handler coming off ball screens. And like we said, you know, her passing ability and her ability to put the ball on the floor are kind of underrated. People know her as a shooter, but she did a nice job there taking it strong to the basket, draw a foul, and her at the free throw line is a pretty good bet if you're a Panther fan.
Most definitely. And, you know, back to Tibbs. I saw her again in the regional semifinal game that went over Metamora. We broadcasted that one, and Tibbs had a career-high 30 that night, only made 1 3 in that game. The rest of them were all inside the arc or at the free throw line. Here's
good steal by Spezio. She steps up.
Yeah, good hands there. Kicks out Tibbs, a deep three. She drained it, but they wave it off, and Washington fans are in disbelief. That's a bang-bang call there. They've been calling these travels really tight here tonight. Wow. That would have been a huge one for Tibbs.
That was a tough call because she's done that all year long, catching the ball in rhythm, steps in and shoots it and missed it. You know, gets a travel. She made the shot. Austin,
and
nice
Austin
reverse.
Got it to go, crashing to the ground. That's how the second quarter ends. A little bit of got the ball almost trapped underneath the basket, but used her length to go up and under, and puts it up and in. So it's
once she got the corner turned there and her size, she's able to get that reverse up off the glass.
So it's 22-19, your score at the half. Again, Washington has been in the driver's seat the entire time so far. Sterling's gotten most of their offense from threes. Washington has been aggressive, a little bit of everything from them.
I was just going to say, I think out of their 19 points, their first 5 baskets were all threes.
I think so.
Until Austin's gotten those last 2 down on the post, they've all been from the perimeter. So, and a lot of those, I think, are come off of either second, third, fourth opportunities, kick out kind of things, or there have been a couple where they've gotten a little ball screen off that flare.
Most definitely, and again, Washington has been moving well, pretty well with the ball. I really like the Panthers' ball movement so far. It's been moving in and out. It's been popping. They've been getting open shots. Maybe haven't knocked on as many as they wanted to, but again, some good looks. And again, you just can't let Tibbs get hot, because behind the arc at the Ottawa sectional alone, those 2 games, she was 7 for 11 from behind the arc, and that included a half-court buzzer beater in the semifinal game.
And you can see that's Sterling's game plan, is to just not give her any clean open looks from the perimeter. That last one that she got that they didn't count because of the travel is really the first clean look she's gotten. Everything else has been she's had to put the ball on the floor and take it to the basket.
Yeah, no, they've done their scouting for sure, and Washington's done their scouting on Madison Austin too. They've dialed up a plan to make things tough for her. The Western Big Six co-MVP for their conference, who's been scoring 23.3 points per game in the playoffs, limited to just 2 points in the first. Oh yeah, rather 4. Yes, 4 after that layup there. Thanks for the correction there, Jeff. But she's got some work on the glass, but got to feel good about it if you're Washington. You just can't let players like James or Amankwa or Gibson, burn you for threes when maybe you wouldn't account for them to score 10, 15 points in a game.
Well, long shots lead to long rebounds. And if they're going to take threes, you've got to be ready to go after it. We saw Mazzy O'Brien get a great rebound. You pointed out she had 2 Sterling offensive players going for an offensive rebound, and she checked one out, and then she went and got the ball. And I think that's what the Panthers kind of have missed a little bit of. They're doing a good job of boxing out, but those long shots hit the floor, and Sterling's quicker to the ball off the floor, and they keep the possession alive.
Definitely, as halftime rolls on here again from Rochelle. Glad you're with us here on ClutchSportsIL.com. Want to take our quick break to remind you that, again, that tonight's broadcast proudly brought to you by Domino's. They just got Parmesan stuffed crust. We heard that it debuted today. So try that out. You can also use it as part of their mix and match deal. You can choose any 2 or more multiple items. You got stuffed cheesy breads and some desserts, pizzas for $6.99 each. That is a great price. Order now at Domino's.com. You can upgrade to the Parmesan stuffed crust too as well. So I want to thank them for their sponsorship here tonight as Washington leads 22-19. Again, tonight's game not the only game going on, at least concerning the Peoria area teams. Again, live audio coverage also on ClutchSportsIL.com of Peoria, Notre Dame, and Stillman Valley. Our Owen Dimples' latest report, he's calling that game and says, latest update is 51-41. Peoria Notre Dame leads Stillman Valley. So Irish are looking to make it 2 straight trips to state.
Yeah, Coach Langloff's group, we saw that early in the season, the first game of the year for the Panthers in the TOC, the very first girls game ever at the TOC, Washington versus Peoria Notre Dame. And what a great honor for both those squads to be in that game and be still playing tonight. I mean, it just speaks again. We said it many times that weekend over the quality of the teams in the tournament. So
yeah, I mean, as the season has gone along, I'm sure a lot of people are like, man, I wish we got another Washington P&D matchup. And if you weren't paying attention right at the start, right when they had that game to start the season, TOC, well, you missed a good one. That was a great way to start the year. Another also team that's sort of semi in the Peoria area, a little bit on the outside, Abingdon Avon. They're playing tonight, Class 1A action at Brimfield. They're taking on Pecatonica. Taking a look at some other scores around the state, courtesy of IHSA Score Zone. Cissna Park leads Decatur St. Teresa 35-26 in the fourth quarter. Again, that's a Class 1A game. Only a score from 1A that's we have right now. Again, also in Class 2A, Nashville, who P&D matched up with in the state title game last year, is up on Central Southeastern 39-26 heading into the fourth quarter. So potential still there for Irish Hornets Part 2 in the state title game. That would be amazing.
That was a really good game.
Considering Nashville got still some sting, pun intended, from that Emmy Wardle floater to win the game.
Absolutely.
Right as time expired last year. So that is going to be fun to watch again. If any of these teams make it to state, P&D or Washington, we will definitely be down there in Normal covering them every step of the way, not just with audio broadcast, but also on Clutch Sports Media Overtime, our written coverage. We'll have hopefully maybe some photographers and social media coverage down there as well. You can follow us at Clutch Sports Media on Instagram and Facebook, Clutch Sports IL on Twitter. And also stay tuned, we'll have some more broadcast announcements coming later this week that we'll be announcing pretty shortly tomorrow morning. So also another score in 3A action. Well, this is the only score available right now. The winner of this game will face a Catholic school. We know that much. It's the winner of
Shocker.
No kidding. St. Ignatius and Marian Catholic. St. Ignatius spent most of the year as the number 2 ranked team in the Class 3A poll behind Washington. So you could make the case that, this game and, the next game, again, don't want to get too ahead of ourselves.
Right.
But, Washington, you could make the case that this game and maybe even their semifinal may be tougher for them than the state final, in which if they make it that far, they either face Lombard Montini, Grays Lake Central, Mount Vernon, or Quincy Notre Dame.
Right. Yeah, and, like you just said, though, I mean, there's not either team has even probably, they know if we win, we know we play at Redbird Arena. They may not even know what the game time is yet.
Yeah.
It's like, we got to get this game first and that kind of thing. So, a great half of basketball here from both squads, and you saw both teams make some little adjustments, and Tibbs kind of got going there a little bit late. I know they took the 3 away from her, but sometimes that just fires her up even more. And, both teams will switch ends here, obviously, like you do every year or every game. But now the Panthers won't be shooting into that Sterling crowd.
Yeah.
It's still open on both ends. I mean, I don't want to say that it's going to be easier, but it's less hostile, like you said.
Yeah, most definitely. Sterling is taking the floor. They're getting some shots up here in this halftime. Washington now comes back out with the cheers of the Panthers faithful. Their students also showing out tonight. I'd say maybe about 4 or so dozen students here, a lot of them wearing white.
Yep.
So white out versus pink out, and obviously, again, about the purple box seats, which, again, one of the coolest things about this gym. I really am a big fan of that. All the seats along the side across from us, we're in the bleachers, but the fans get treated to those nice purple box seats. It almost has the feel. This really could be almost like a Division III type of arena. It's a large space.
Right. Yeah, I do. I love those seats over there on the other side. I've got a thought that if the Panthers would play on Thursday at Redbird Arena, I would bet the fan buses, there may be multiple fan buses full of students. If I can get out of school, I'll pay the $10 to go watch that game. I mean, this one's at night, so maybe not as many made the trip. Plus, spring sports started today. I see Coach Wisher sitting in front of us down there. Probably had to get out of practice and let kids out so they could get up here to the game. So,
well, I know. I saw a really cool move from Washington. I saw they posted earlier this week. They were going to let school out early today, so that way that the students could get up here and allow people enough time to travel to Rochelle. So, really cool move there.
I think it had a lot to do and from the athletic director's office having the foresight to say, hey, spring sports are starting, and every coach, first day of the season, we got a lot of things we have to do. We got to get out there and get started, and the girls have a basketball game at 6:30, so you need to be done so that our kids can get to the game. And they made a good decision. They moved school time, the start time actually up to 8 o'clock. For Mondays is usually a 9 o'clock late start at the high school, and let them out early. So that was a class move by the Panthers. So.
Most definitely. And, hey, I mean, it's a good problem to have if you're a school administrator or an athletic director, your team going this deep into the playoffs. Again, it's been a special season for both schools. Don't want to, again, overlook Sterling. Again, they won their first sectional title since 2007, looking for their first state trip since 1983. Washington looking for their first trip since 1977. So there's maybe even a chance that potentially, I got to do some math here, there may be a chance that maybe some of these players' parents weren't even alive last time that at least Washington made the state finals. So this is, either way, going to be a generational finish, and someone is going to be celebrating like they haven't celebrated in about 4 or 5 decades.
There you go.
So strap up for what should be a great second half. Again, tell your friends and tell your family. Free live audio coverage here on ClutchSportsIL.com. It will be Washington ball going right to left. Start this third quarter. Again, Panthers in their home whites as they've been pretty much the entire postseason as the higher seed. Sterling again in their navy blue and golds with yellow numbers, white trim. Panthers got the black numbers with orange trim. Inbounds goes to Tibbs, and she'll bring things up. Flanked by Donald and Gaudet at the guard, or Donald and O'Brien rather. And then McDougal and Gaudet, the starting five out there for Washington. Yep. Sterling has got Jocelyn James, Austin, Amankwa, Nia Harris out there, as well as Jalen James. So here's a kick out. Tibbs, or O'Brien rather, a three ball that just fell off the rim, and it goes back to Sterling.
Good sequence there. Usually Tibbs is one of the cutters off that high post pass, and they had O'Brien wide open on the weak side as the defender sort of sagged off a little bit. And a good look for Mazzy, but just off the mark.
So Sterling will bring it back up again. This is kind of got almost a slight feel of that Washington Morton sectional title where they haven't trailed, but they've been close. A air ball was rebounded by Jalen James. She put it up, got fouled, and she'll head to the line for two. That foul goes on Ainsley Redling-Schaefer. Or rather, no, they're going to
Donald, yeah.
It was on Donald. That's her
I think
second.
you saw Sterling kind of go back to the single high post zone offense there. They got it inside, and it was Harris that kind of tried to take that 15-footer. And I think the Panthers got a little piece of it, got to maybe block that to have it go short. And those are, if you don't see it, those are impossible to rebound. And I think Donald kind of lost sight of the ball, and James came up with it and makes both free throws, makes it a one-point game.
So 22-21 is the closest Sterling's been. Washington started today on a 7-0 run. So Sterling missed their first handful of shots. O'Brien feeds it to Gaudet, guarded by the 6'3" Austin on the perimeter. She'll drive in, shot fake, kicks back out Tibbs. And a lot of similar looking plays for the Panthers tonight. Tibbs, physical play on defense there by Amankwa, and I think Washington wanted a foul but didn't get one there. She tried to get the steal.
They keep possession of the ball here, though, so. Amankwa has done a great job. I mean, her soul's focus on the defensive end has been down here as the guard Tibbs hard.
Yeah, again,
you're making it a little physical.
Yeah, she's not a big scorer. She's only averaged 5.5 points per game in the playoffs. But again, defense has been her game. Gaudet, right at there's a purple RTHS outlined in rectangle inside the lane. That's where Gaudet was. Panthers worked it around O'Brien rather. Again, sidestep three. McDougal the offensive board over Harris. Amankwa takes a tumble. Pass over to O'Brien, had it swatted by Madison Austin. That's the second big block for her tonight.
Skip pass across court, wide open Mazzy O'Brien tries to take it to the basket. That's one of the things, if you haven't played against a player like that, you've got to make the adjustments of taking the shot when you're open. Gaudet
taking a deep three and sinks it from the corner. A huge shot for Washington to push the lead back up to 4.
Making Austin come away from the basket and guard her. That'll open things up for people.
And they got off to a hot start. And Panthers lead by 4. Golden Warriors setting up their offense. Austin jogging baseline now on the far right side. Here's a drive from Jocelyn James. Puts it up off the glass and in. Back to a 2-point game.
Did a good job kind of spreading out that Panthers zone defense there a little bit. And get a little dribble penetration. Gaudet
step
takes
back,
another.
Gaudet, nothing but net. Well, her shots have looked very pretty tonight. I don't know if she's hardly hit the rim on any of them.
No, and she's going to make Austin, be honest on the defensive end.
Now Golden Warriors back down 4. It's been one step forward, one step back for them. Most of this one shot by James was no good, but she got her offensive miss. Austin trying to create space on McDougal. She stepped on the baseline.
Good defense by McDougal. Good job not picking up that third foul. Austin trying to drive by her on the baseline.
So Washington could get it back up to 6 or 7 on this possession. Again, Tibbs has got 6. Gaudet, though, has been the story so far with 12. She'll dial up another step-back 3. Danny Gaudet's on fire in Rochelle.
When you feel it, Great start for the Panthers. Great start for Danny Gaudet here in the third quarter.
Starting the second half just like she started the first. She's got 15 of Washington's 30 points so far. Drive in. James, one-handed floater. Awkward shot there, and it's rebounded by Mazzy O'Brien. She directs traffic. Gets up to Redling-Schaefer. Kick out McDougal. Now back to O'Brien. Wide open three. No good. Long board. Tapped back in by McDougal and into the hands of Sterling's Jocelyn James.
Good hustle by McDougal to keep that alive.
Now Jocelyn James, fall-away jumper. Oh, what a shot. That was something you see in the NBA, and James just nothing but net.
That's a tough move. Good move by a high school player. Kind of pull up from 8 feet, off balance.
And she had that off the dribble, just in motion, fadeaway shot, and just nothing but net. Back to a 5-point game. O'Brien feeding Gaudet. Sterling's fans getting antsy. They get a turnover, but McDougal steals it right back, and Sterling commits the foul. Great play there by McDougal.
Got the ball inside in the post to Danny Gaudet, and they doubled down as she tried to turn to the middle. The ball gets taken away, but McDougal steals it right back and draws a foul. That'll be Austin's second.
Action ratcheting up here in the third quarter. We got a quick break again. Want to thank Domino's, our wonderful sponsor tonight. Again, want to remind you, take advantage of this mix and match deal. You can choose any 2 or more multiple options. I can tell you because I've ordered it myself. It's a great deal. Get a pizza and maybe stuffed cheesy bread. Lots of other options too. And again, they just added Parmesan stuffed crust just today. So take advantage of some of those deals and try out that Parmesan stuffed crust. Domino's.com. I want to thank them again so much for sponsoring tonight's broadcast, as well as our broadcast over between P&D and Stillman Valley. I guess really especially want to thank them, especially with the fact that these games were maybe driving a little bit forward, maybe a little more cost involved to get out. Obviously the postseason streaming fees as well. So really can't thank Domino's enough for allowing us to be here, and also to Rochelle's administration for allowing us to come here tonight, provide you free live coverage. McDougal, thought about a 3. Redling-Schaefer shot fakes, kicks. O'Brien in front of their own bench is an air ball, but it's touched by Austin as she tried to get the board, and will stay with the Panthers.
Good patience, good shot for Mazzy O'Brien from the corner. We know she's a good shooter from the perimeter and just off the mark.
So it's a 5-point lead. Sterling got it down to 22-21. Inbounds pass was taken away by Jalen James. Cross court up to Austin. Her layup, though, is no good. She tried to fade away a bit on there on McDougal. Washington, outlet pass. They were looking for Redling-Schaefer and airmail. Back to Sterling.
Redling-Schaefer up ahead, but James was in the way, and the pass was a little bit too long and out of bounds. Spezio checking in here for the Panthers to give O'Brien a little bit of a break in the third.
And Spezio, maybe not the biggest scorer, but boy, her presence is really valuable. It's given some of those starters some bench minutes. Sterling's got 3 open players, and they gave it to Jocelyn James. That's the one Golden Warrior you cannot let be open.
The Panthers are doing a great job collapsing inside on Austin, but I think they've got to start to recognize where James is at on the perimeter. She's hurting him way too much.
And she's got 15 after she had 12 points and 9 boards against Dixon. Final from Bureau Valley. P&D is going back to state. 67-56 over Stillman Valley is the final. Congratulations to the Irish. Washington looking to make that same trip down 74 later this week. So Panthers ball, Gaudet driving in, and a shot off the dribble was no good, too strong. From about 10 feet out. Now here's James, guarded by Spezio. Hands it off over to Amankwa. Now back to James. Thought about pulling the trigger. Amankwa drives in, got a step on Tibbs, but the layup was no good. Tough angle. Here comes a 3-on-2 with Tibbs leading the break. Steps into a 3-ball. Short. Gaudet the board. She got bumped. That's
great rebound, Danny Gaudet. Good decision by Avery Tibbs to pull up behind the arc there on the break and just short.
So that'll be a foul on Jocelyn James. That's number 2 on her. And no player for either squad really in much foul trouble. Neither team in much foul trouble either. 2 fouls on Sterling, 1 on Washington. Here's Redling Schaefer. Back over McDougal. Driving in. Here's O'Brien. Shot for the free throw line is no good. And a foul there in the backcourt. Tough collision there between O'Brien and James.
I don't see a foul call. Just out of bounds off of the Panthers. So Warriors will keep possession here.
So again, still a 2-point game.
We were talking earlier, when Gaudet got on that hot streak, the Panthers had a chance to build that lead up to 7 or 8, and since then it's been all Warriors. So Austin getting a little bit of a break here for the Warriors. Yep, you probably see them be a little patient here on this end.
Yep, Edinger back up forward into the game, and we get a turnover. That's a travel on Delali Amankwa. The senior guard who's been playing some tough defense, trying to drive in, but took 2 steps before. So it's back to Washington as they cling to this 2-point lead with under 2 to go in the third. They work on offense. A little bit of an overload set here. McDougal trying to feed it to Gaudet. She was cut off. Now O'Brien on the far side. Redling Schaefer behind the arc. Back over. McDougal left open for 3. Good screen from O'Brien. It allowed McDougal the space to knock it down.
Golden Warriors turn around right back. McDougal tips one out of bounds on the wing. That's a big shot from Rebecca McDougal. We know she's capable of making those. She passed on a couple of opportunities a little bit earlier, but there she stepped up and made a huge one there for the Lady Panthers.
5-point lead here for Washington after that McDougal 3. She's got 5 points tonight. Just 4 scorers for the Panthers. Gaudet with 15, Tibbs with 6, McDougal 5, and Redling Schaefer 4. Sterling's been led by 15 from Jocelyn James. They've only had 4 scores as well. They get it to Edinger at the elbow. Pass over Amankwa. High arcing 3, and a rebound tipped back out into the hands of Redling Schaefer with a minute to play. She'll drive left side, has an open girl. It's McDougal. Kicks back out. Edinger cut off McDougal there. Gaudet out to McDougal for 3, again rimmed out. Tibbs got the board, and she got fouled from behind by Amankwa. Danny Gaudet hyping her up.
Great position by Avery Tibbs. Just battles hard for the board. Going to be called on the ground, out of bounds.
So Panthers will trigger it with O'Brien. 47 seconds left here in the third. O'Brien inbounds it to McDougal. Now Tibbs will curl around. Amanka draped all over her. He gets a screen, and that was a moving one on McDougal. I don't think the Panthers liked it, but I think that was the right call. I think I saw her move just a tiny bit there. That'll be her third.
That's what you got to do. You have to do a good job as a ball handler of, shaking that one off if she's not going to get there in time to get set. But 2 of her 3 have been those screens. She's trying to help get Tibbs open.
So Sterling with a chance to potentially have the last say, or they could maybe go for a 2-for-1, potentially tie this thing up going into the final quarter. State finals, or state berth on the line. They have to win 1 more to get to the state finals. Here's a drive. James on the baseline, running out of room, but slings it over, finds Gibson. Her shot no good. Rebound is tapped around. Whose ball is it? It's Sterling's.
Sterling getting another chance.
They'll reset with 13, and a deep 3 is good from Jocelyn James, and she lets the crowd know about it. Get a delay of game warning on Sterling after that 3 there. But boy, James is really starting to feel it. 18 for her, and she is very confident.
But
right
another second chance opportunity off the rebound, and that's when you tend to lose people on the offensive end.
Tibbs jutting up the lane and scoring. She lays it in before the buzzer. And it's a 4-point lead for Washington with 1 to play. Tibbs just put her head down and says, take me to the basket.
Well, and they've done a good job on her on the half court, but there she got the inbound, took it strong to the basket, finished well with that left hand.
4-point lead for Washington here as they enter the fourth quarter. Again, give a quick word for Domino's. Try out their new Parmesan stuffed crust today. Order now at Domino's.com. You can use it as part of their mix and match deal. Get any 2 options, lots of them for $6.99 each. Wonderful deal over there, Domino's.com. As we head into the fourth quarter again, Washington still has not trailed. Trying to think the last time that they did trail in the playoffs. We obviously saw them back at Morton. They did trail that game. I think they maybe trailed to Galesburg by 1 or 2 points in like the first minute or two of the game. But the team has played from ahead most of the year, and it's just kind of a symbol of how the year has been. Everyone's been chasing Washington. They're the number one team in the state. Well, everyone's been going for them. They're every team's Super Bowl, is what they say.
We've talked about this. The Panthers have had a great season, but at the same time, they haven't just dominated teams night in and night out.
Yeah.
They've trailed in the fourth quarter. They've trailed at halftime. They've been in situations where they've had tight games. So this isn't going to be anything that will be a problem for them. I mean, Warriors can still come out on top, but the Panthers will know how to react to this kind of situation.
They have not been this far before, but they've been in these types of games before. Shot from Nia Harris was no good. Rebounded there, I believe it was Donald. Tibbs, pass up to O'Brien.
Might have been blocked by Gaudet in there, and Donald comes up with a big rebound for the Panthers.
This plays got very loud in between quarters, and O'Brien traveled there. Took 2 steps, so it'll give it back to the Golden Warriors. Again, Madison Austin, just 4 points for Sterling. Again, she's had double-doubles in her last 3 games at 20 points, 12 boards against Dixon. She's just had 4 tonight. But Jocelyn James, the 5'3" sophomore guard, has kept Sterling in this one. Austin had it stripped. Tibbs up to O'Brien, one-on-one, her and James. She lays it in off the glass.
Good pass by Tibbs up ahead. Way to run the floor for Mazzy O'Brien. That'll build the lead to 6 here.
That's O'Brien's first bucket.
That might have been a travel there from Omakwa in the corner, but
instead they'll give it to Harris. One-handed floater from the free throw line. No good. Rebound was tipped and ends up in the hands of the Golden Warriors. They'll get another chance. Now James looking to set something up. Passes over Omakwa. Now she skips it over.
I think the Panthers have just got to be aware. They've got to be aware of where James is at on that perimeter. You know, in this zone defense, they kind of turn their back sometimes and lose sight of her. And we know she doesn't take much time or need much room to get them off.
Nia Harris got the pass there and got fouled on the way up by Donald. And she knocks down her first free throw. 37-32, 6:46 to go here from Rochelle. This is going to be either a unforgettable 2-hour bus ride back for Washington or a very long 2-hour bus ride back. They're hoping it is the former. Misses the second. Nice ball movement from Washington. O'Brien tried to get it to Redling Schaefer. Gibson nearly hacked it out of her hands, but it goes off of her and out of bounds.
Great pass across court to Mazzy O'Brien. She tried to give it up there to Redling Schaefer, and she just couldn't quite get the handle.
Tibbs inbounds it. Gaudet on the low block. Turning around. Oh, what a look. Off
nice
the glass.
Nice post move off the glass. Good patience in the post. Didn't get the double team, and one-on-one over a shorter defender.
Danny Gaudet. Potential legacy game for the junior. They'll give it to Omakwa. Sterling working it around.
Panthers lost sight of her.
And now here's James on the dribble, puts it up. Gaudet came across trying to get the block, and they're going to get someone for a foul. And it was O'Brien. So that's number 2 this quarter on Washington and number 2 total on Mazzy O'Brien.
Yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, James is good enough. She shot the ball from the perimeter, so now you've got to run at her on the perimeter. If you're not close enough, you've got to run at her, and she's good enough to put it on the floor and get to the rim or draw fouls like she did here.
First one was good from Jocelyn James, and she's got 2. She's got 20 for Sterling tonight.
We're just a sophomore in a big, big game. This is quite a breakout game for her.
Most definitely. Again, Washington led by so many juniors. They can do this all again next year. Now they want to do it this year as well. Tibbs driving left on Omakwa, who tried to poke it out and did, but it will stay with Washington. Tibbs will inbound it right in front of her own bench. And Panthers head coach Kim Barth. Get in O'Brien. Goes behind the back, kicks it out. McDougal set open for 3, got it to go. And a good screen from Tibbs again to leave her open.
You know, that's the one thing about the Panthers. You get You get Mazzy O'Brien makes a great behind-the-back dribble to start to put pressure on the defense. They have to collapse. You get a screen from your best shooter and scorer to get McDougal a wide-open look, and she buries it.
That was a great play there, drawn up. Again, we saw a similar shot on the other side where I believe it was O'Brien set a screen for McDougal to knock down. Either McDougal or Gaudet or one of the Panthers to knock down a 3.
Loose ball, tough inbound.
Yeah, ball is on the deck. It's back to the Sterling. 5:27 to go. Ball's on the deck again. Kick out. 3 ball is good. And guess who it is? It's Jocelyn James. She celebrates with her bench. I thought from our angle, looked like she may have been talking trash, but I think to her defender, but I think she was just yelling at her bench. Very reasonably pumped up. At least we hope there wasn't any jawing going on there, but James has got 23 and just straight another 3 on Washington, so it's back to a 5-point game.
Big shot, but again, there's another second chance opportunity, loose ball scramble, and you lose their hottest scorer of the night. So, you just can't have that if you're the Lady Panthers at this stretch in the game. You've got to know where she is.
5-point game, 5 and change to go. Again, nice broadcast again, brought to you again by Domino's.com. Order online now, $6.99 each. Mix and match deal. Parmesan stuffed crust pizza that just debuted today. Get in on the dough and maybe get some pizza, some wings, some whatever you want at Domino's, and tune in for plenty of playoff hoops this week on
May have
Clutch
to call
Sports
in that order
IL.
on our way home.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might have to put in an order. I believe I heard that the kind folks over at Domino's, I heard, were actually going to be kind enough to, I think, supply our crew with some pizza at one of the games at Washington later this week.
Okay.
Not sure if there's any nearby locations here in Rochelle, but either way, again, get it on that deal and thank them so much for making tonight's coverage possible. It's Washington with the ball. O'Brien stepping in, guarded tightly by James. Gaudet, shot fake, driving in. She got fouled on the way up by Nia Harris, sophomore guard who hasn't scored. Interesting fact about Nia Harris is her great aunt was on the 1977 state title team for Sterling. A lot of family connections.
So I'm
Pretty
not
cool.
the only one that remembers that game. That's what you're saying, right?
No. I shout out the folks over at Sterling's athletic department that posted about that fact. And also, I also want to shout out Sterling as well, too. They had a website where they had full box scores for both all of their boys and girls basketball games from the entire season. So that was
awesome.
That was really helpful earlier today. So shout out to Sterling and good folks over there for that. One free throw is good. It's 43-37. Washington in front. James and Gibson play catch. Now it's over to Harris on the wing. Pass was taken away and good hands from O'Brien. She'll pass it up to Tibbs, who's outnumbered. Crosses over, drives in on the block, and she dragged that back foot. That'll be a travel.
Maybe a little, Coach Barth might have wanted a little more patience on that. Not really an advantage. A couple defenders got back, but we've seen Avery make that play all throughout the season, so you're certainly not going to try to reel her in at this point.
And you figure maybe if you get a stop here, if you're Washington, you're leading by 6, opportunity to make it more. Maybe you start slowing things down a bit on offense and really not forcing the issue too much as McDougal reached in there on Amankwa. And that'll be, I think, McDougal's fourth. That's an aggressive play from someone with 3 fouls there. And that's the 3rd on Washington. McDougal will stay in the game, though, with 4:21 to go.
Ball tipped on the inbound.
And there's McDougal deflecting it, and another travel there on Amankwa, who is a bit befuddled.
Yeah, she likes to go quick with the ball, and when she puts it down, when she tries to go, sometimes the ball doesn't get to the floor in time.
Panthers 4 minutes away from a state berth. Would be there since 1977, but still work left to do. O'Brien has it by the volleyball line. Now back to Redling Schaefer on the wing. Now up top with McDougal in between the circles. Nice kick. O'Brien. Now back to O'Brien. Thought about a 3, passed it up, kicks it down to Gaudet in the paint. She cut
Great
in,
cut, good
got
pass.
fouled.
I think you're seeing the Panthers show a little more patience on this trip down the floor. Mazzy O'Brien passes up a wide open look at a 3. Keep the ball moving, get a good cut to the basket. Going to get a couple free throws here for Danny Gaudet.
So she'll get 2. Foul goes on Nia Harris, number 3 for her. Jim quiets down a bit, and Gaday's first free throw is just a bit too strong. And given her range she's shown tonight, I mean, to say the oldest broadcaster line here, maybe she's just a bit too close to the rim.
There you go.
Second one,
Makes
though, is
that one.
nothing but net. Gaday's got 18. 3-possession lead here for the Panthers. Mankwa with it at the top. I'll give it back to her. Feed over. Here's Jalen James, been the much quieter of the two Jameses. Jalen, the junior, he hasn't scored. Here's a jumper, Amankwa, hung in the air for a long time. Offensive rebound, Harris. Amankwa, top of the key. 3-ball is no good. Rebound to Austin, and she lays it up and in. Good positioning there.
That's just a big senior saying, I'm going to go get this rebound. And you know what? The Panthers did a smart thing by not turning it into a three-point play opportunity. Again, the Panthers have versatility. McDougal out away from the basket, making Austin come out when you're down by, 5 points here with 3 minutes to go. You're always going to have an outlet probably in Rebecca McDougal that she can get herself open.
Tibbs tried to feed a cutting Cadet, but Cadet stopped her cut midway, and it turned over. Jocelyn James driving in. Hard shot off the backboard, no good. Might have been anticipating some contact there. McDougal picks up her dribble in the backcourt, and Kim Barth smartly calls timeout with 2:49 to go.
2:49. Good possession there. Good sequence there on the defensive end. McDougal with 4 fouls has got James coming at her full bore, and she stops, doesn't leave her feet, isn't going to draw off that 5th foul, but makes it a tough shot, and then goes and gets a rebound when it goes hard off the glass.
Yeah, James, maybe almost a bit too much adrenaline there on that shot, but she's been feeling that. I mean, 23 points for her. Danny Gaday, 18 for Washington. She's the only Panther in double figures. Tibbs has 8. McDougal has 8. Redling Schaefer has 4, and O'Brien had 2. I think I'm missing one. Help out my memory, Jeff. Who was the Panther that made 1 out of 2 free throws about a minute or two ago?
Gaday made 1 of 2 earlier. Yeah.
Okay, so that means Gaday has 19 then, by my count. Again, unofficial numbers. And a lot of stuff going on here in Rochelle. Been a fun one so far. Again, winner of this one will face the winner of St. Ignatius and Marian Catholic in the state semifinals.
A long 2:49 left here in the 4th quarter.
This is going to be a very long 2:49 as the Washington fans come to their feet. Fans holding up signs that say "Cut the net." That's what they're hoping to do in a couple of minutes. Sterling student section jumping around in pink. Washington student section comes to their feet.
Another turnover by Tibbs.
In the backcourt, here's Austin feeding off Amankwa. Her layup is good. Costly turnover there for the Panthers. It's back to a 1-score game. 44-41. Plays are getting a little bit louder. Tough pass to Gaday. Incomplete.
And there's a travel
at the island. Washington did get a slight break there. Jalen James picked up the ball after it was turned over.
Kind of lost the handle and couldn't quite get it to the floor in time without a travel first.
I actually thought she didn't have full possession, but the refs say she will, and that's all that matters right now. They'll inbound to McDougal. O'Brien has an open look at the free throw line. Off the back iron and good.
Big basket by the Panthers. That takes a lot of courage to knock down that shot in that situation.
Back on the other end, it's Amankwa. Feed over Jocelyn James. High post Harris. Austin through the foul. Foul on Gaday, and she can't believe it. That'll make it a 3-point game with a chance to make it 2 with 2:08 left. Wow.
Able to exploit that high post and get it down low to Austin, and the Panthers made the mistake of turning this into a 3-point opportunity.
And again, she's been relatively quiet, but you can't forget about Austin in moments like this, especially the fact that she's fighting for her high school life. She's a senior, and she makes the free throw, 46-44.
2-point game, 2 minutes to go. You see a defensive substitution as Gibson comes in the game here for Austin. That'll make it a little bit tougher on the Panthers on the perimeter.
Listen to this crowd. Tibbs working in, gets fouled. Number 3 on Sterling here this quarter. By the way, Washington's committed 4. So Sterling is shooting the rest of the way out. Huge possession here for Washington. If they can make this a 2-score lead, they're feeling a little bit more confident, but so much can happen in these final 113 ticks. As Gade will kneel down, tie her shoe. Can't be tripping over your shoelaces. The state title berth on the line. Tibbs inbounds. McDougal runs it back out. Washington may just try and bleed some clock here. Up to O'Brien on the purple R.
You're going to have to take care of the ball.
No wild passes. They go from Redley Schaefer back to McDougal. O'Brien in the corner. Back to McDougal. Sterling maybe going to let this play out, see if they can get a turnover. O'Brien, McDougal play catch again. Now McDougal dribbles to the right and back out, circles around.
Got to be careful on that turnaround, that reverse pivot, the wraparound there from.
Now O'Brien into that far corner, needing some help. And another very, very smart timeout there. Panthers were able to bleed off about 32 seconds of clock there, and that was a tough situation. O'Brien was in the far corner.
Yeah, keeping the ball out of the corners, that's where they're going to look to trap you here. You see them really extending their pressure. You got to be careful when you get by a defender. They don't wrap around and tip it away. You can't turn your back on a reverse pivot and get stripped.
So yeah,
go ahead.
No, back to your point. I was just going to say 1:21 to go. And maybe if you're Sterling, how long you let this maybe play out and try to get a turnover before you start maybe playing the foul game?
That's what I started to say, is they only have 3 team fouls. So this is a situation where they can be really aggressive. Because if I foul you, okay, that's fine. But if I don't get the foul called and I make a play on defense, even better.
Yeah.
So they can be really, really aggressive here and make it tough on the Panthers.
Referees talking things over, talking about where the inbound will occur. Every fan in the building pretty much is on their feet.
I think the Panthers just got a break there, because now there's a situation where they're getting the ball much up higher on the court than have to go from that dead corner. That would have been a tough inbound angle.
They did it. It moved the inbound location up about 10 to 15 feet or so. Panthers still have it. McDougal feeds it to O'Brien. Some heavy pressure by the Golden Warriors right now. Tibbs, O'Brien play catch. A little bit of a 3-2 zone here for Sterling. Tibbs drives in, pulls it back out. McDougal had it poked away. Here comes Sterling. Jalen James, feet over. Gibson, her floater ties it up with under a minute to play. This place is going wild. Washington has it. Tibbs feeds McDougal. They're not calling timeout. McDougal kicks out to O'Brien. 40 seconds to play. First tie of the ball game since we were 0-0. And a foul on Sterling that goes on Amankwa, and that's the team's fourth with 37.5 to go.
That may be a situation where they don't know the score situation. I mean, you don't want to foul in that situation.
Any foul will send anyone to the line. Hard collision there between two players. Tibbs lost it out of bounds, and it's back to Sterling. Ball went off of her foot. There's some hands over the heads from some Washington fans right now. This one is getting tense. They're going to have to make a play on defense here in the final 33 seconds. Here we go. It's Jocelyn James.
So will Sterling hold for the last shot? I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not either.
Maybe take this with about 6 seconds, 5 seconds to go. Give Austin a chance to go get a rebound.
It's James with it. O'Brien is guarding her. Panthers in man defense. Austin's at the top of the key. Amankwa cuts to the opposite corner. 13 seconds left. James is still standing there waiting to make her move. She has been a killer. Can she send Sterling to the state finals? Feed in. Pass was too high. Amankwa with one has to throw it up. No good. Overtime in Rochelle. Good defense from Washington.
Good
there.
Defense,
they tried
exactly
to get it
right.
into Austin, and they deflected it at altered plans a bit for the Golden Warriors, and we'll get 4 more minutes of basketball.
Absolutely. Good defense by the Panthers. Danny Gade read that on the dribble drive. They were looking to get that in low down there to Austin. Just made it a tough catch, and all she could do was tip it out. Amankwa got it, but just kind of had to turn and throw it as the horn was going off.
I will say this. I think if you're Washington, I think you're maybe a little, I think the advantage goes to Washington because they've played in some of these close games lately. They've been more battle tested lately. You look at what Sterling's done. Again, they beat Dixon, a good team, by 9, but earlier in the playoffs, they had a 33-point win, a 32-point win, and a 30-point win. They weren't quite tested quite as much. Washington has seen maybe a little bit more adversity and overcame it against a much tougher group of opponents to this point, but we shall see. This 4 minutes could bring along anything.
Well, and they battled back, and they've got themselves here into an overtime, so I'm sure Sterling is feeling like, hey, these are a bonus 4 minutes, and nothing bad can happen. We're going to go out here and play. You're going to have a jump ball and probably get the first possession, okay, and have a chance to take the lead for the first time in the game.
So every fan on their feet now here at Rochelle. What an environment. Can't ask for much more. IHSA Hoops. This is March, as they say. It'll be Austin and O'Brien to tip it off. Sterling will be going left to right here into their student section for this overtime period. Washington will be going right to left into their student section here as well. So Austin at 6'3", probably the favorite on this tip-off, and Sterling does win it. It's James who's been running the point most of the night. Austin, unlike McDougal today, not really much of a ball handler at forward for Sterling. Jalen James guarded by Tibbs. Feeds it off to Jocelyn.
You see Sterling being really patient here with the ball. They'll take a good shot when they get it. They'll look for an offensive rebound if they do take a shot.
Harris in the corner, guarded tightly by Gaudet. Here comes a double with McDougal. They get it in to Nia Harris, and a foul.
No, it got a travel.
They got a travel. I was going to say, I didn't see much contact there. I was a bit surprised
As a former post player, sometimes you get the ball in the post and you cannot believe how open you are. In that situation, Austin doubled in the corner, and they make a pass inside, and I don't think Johnson just realized, oh my gosh, I am so wide open. Kind of fumbled the catch a little bit, and travel, turnover, Panthers chance to take the lead back.
And maybe exhale a little bit more if you're a Panthers fan. They can just get the lead right back. Panthers have done so good of just not giving up the lead, even though they've been challenged. Here's Gaudet driving in. Multiple people there. Almost got it to go off the backboard and in, but she'll head to the line for two.
The situation here where the Golden Warriors have taken Austin out of the game, I don't understand on that defensive possession. Take her out. I don't think she's got 4 fouls, but that situation where, McDougal and Gaudet are going against more similar-sized players that don't have a 6'3" player to battle.
That's a good point. I barely even noticed Austin came out. Gaudet knocks down her first. She's been miss money for Washington here tonight as the Panthers lead it here 47-46 in overtime. Again, glad you're with us on ClutchSportsIL.com. Not going to find a much better game in the entire state than what you'll be listening to here tonight from Rochelle. Golden Warriors working with Austin on Gaudet, trying to get it off the glass, no good. Good positioning from the Panthers, and they bring in the miss with O'Brien.
Again, watch the wraparound. Panthers going to have to be patient with the ball here.
It's Gaudet.
Tough pass.
Schaefer barely was looking for it, but they kept possession.
Again, this is one where you can, McDougal with a good curl cut, kicks out O'Brien, passes it up. Kind of hate to see players waste one dribble and not go anywhere.
Now Gaudet trying to get big. Knocks over a defender, no call, but the shot was no good, and it's rebounded by Harris.
Austin Warren on the floor,
Wide
gets it on the block.
and lays it up and in. Now she's in double figures, and it's a 48-48 ball game as we correct our score.
Good defensive sequence. Austin just runs the floor.
O'Brien feeding McDougal. Beautiful
Good
shot fake on
gets Austin in the air, up and under, big basket.
Got Austin all up in the air and put it up and in. It's 50-48 Washington with 2 to play.
Halfway through this overtime period, great battle.
Washington wins the first half of overtime. Can they hang on here in the final 2 minutes? Sterling passes to Austin. She kicks out. Amankwa thought 3 for a second. James. She can
I thought she could pull that trigger, boy. She had a lot of room there.
She's been very confident so far. Sidestepping, shooting. Knocked it down through a foul. It's going to be a 4-point play for Jocelyn James. Unbelievable.
And even worse, I think that'll be the 5th foul on McDougal.
And this is the part now, if you're watching, you have to dig deep. And that is 5 on McDougal. Someone's got to step up. You got to make a play. You got to keep your head and say, hey, We are still in this game. It's
Absolutely.
a big play. Sterling's just got really loud. But, hey, we didn't come this far, to give up and fold when something, like McDougal fouling out occurs. What a great game for her.
Even if she makes this basket, your free throw, you're down 2. You've got a great offense. Being down 2 is not a big deal to you. So, the Panthers will see what they do.
And she knocks down the free throw. 4-point play from Jocelyn James, who's got 27 points tonight by my count. And we get a foul there on James, so that will send O'Brien to the line. A chance to tie it right back up. By the way, the substitution for McDougal into the game was Adrian Donald.
Yeah.
So it's O'Brien with 2 free throws coming here. She's got 4 points tonight. Middle-line icon, all-conference, second teamer. Her first one, shooter's touch, rolls in. Probably made a lot of people, especially the Panther fans, that made the trip hold their breath, but it hit the front rim, the back rim, and then came right back in.
A lot of touches.
Deep breath for O'Brien. Undoubtedly feeling the pressure, but knocks it down. It's back to a tie game. Big, big free throws from Azzy O'Brien. 1:28 to go. I cannot see the larger scoreboard that shows everything
that shows the
directly
timeout,
to our right, so I'm not sure. I wish I knew, but I wish I knew exactly how many timeouts both teams had. I can't imagine that Washington has more than 1 or 2 remaining. I think Sterling has called maybe 2 or 3 during regulation. Obviously, you get the 1 more added during overtime. But still plenty left to unfold here in this one.
Well, I think it'll be interesting to see here what Sterling does. Do they try to attack right away and get the lead back? Do they hold this for the last shot? Are we looking to double overtime? They've got the advantage in Austin where they can take the shot with, like we said earlier, 6 seconds to go, and she can just go get a rebound, and there's not going to be much the Panthers can do about it if they don't go get the ball first.
And again, you got to wonder, too, maybe you feel confident taking the last shot or maybe move it to a second overtime with McDougal now on the bench for the rest of this game. She fouls out with 10 points, and that's one of 2 players that can really somewhat match Austin's size at 6'3". So now it's going to be huge on the shoulders of Danny Gaudet to make sure that Austin doesn't just have her way in the paint. It's really
and the Panthers, like we said early in the game, they took her away with a couple of people. Now here they go back to the double high. I think they're going to attack right away. They're going to throw the ball in and try to dive Austin down to the block.
It's Tibbs guarding James now, rather.
Kind of out of the matchup zone. The Panthers got to know where she's at.
Tibbs will come out a little bit. Guard James as we approach 1 minute. James Namankwa and Nia Harris play catch. Harris kicks out. Jalen James for a 3. Comes up short. She hasn't scored yet tonight and trying to take a big one there. Washington the other way. Donald driving in, kicking. Panthers now can hold for the last shot if they want it. Gaudet looking to find somebody. Redling Schaefer cuts in the lane. Somehow found Tibbs. Amankwa wasn't looking, but
I think the ball found Tibbs.
O'Brien now in some trouble. High post. Feed Gaudet.
Cut by
Her
Gaudet.
layup is good. Danny Gaudet
33 seconds
to come
left.
up big. 2-point lead for Washington. They scored 4 straight after the 4-point play. Sterling needs a bucket. Harris kicks out. 3-ball. James no good.
Rebound
to
O'Brien.
O'Brien. They can just cross the timeline and play the foul game. Timeout by the Panthers.
Great rebound in there. Mazzy O'Brien comes out of there. And again, you see the versatility. She's able to handle the ball even after a rebound. 16 seconds left here. 2-point lead Panthers.
Jalen James, who hasn't scored in this one, not Jocelyn James. Jalen tried to take 2 big threes, and credit to her. Those were open shots. You want to take the shot, maybe you're in, knock it down. She is a good shooter and a good scorer.
She took a couple early in the game in the first quarter. She had a couple of good looks and didn't knock them down. So I mean, I'm sure she's a competent shooter, and those are good shots for her. Panthers are just doing a good job. They know where James is at on the perimeter on Jocelyn James, and they're just collapsing on Austin. They had 2 and 3 people around her. That's what created that open shot on the weak side, and it's just off the mark. Good rebound by the Panthers, 16 seconds. They're going to have to inbound this and make some free throws. Take care of the basketball.
Yep, and a good rebound by O'Brien, bringing that in. And even that, the smallest task, maybe might seem so big right now because I don't know about you, Jeff. When I'm stressed, when I'm running around, my hands get sweaty. If I was O'Brien, there's probably a good chance I'm catching that ball and I'm fumbling it out of bounds.
Absolutely.
And Sterling gets another chance.
Oh my gosh,
back.
it came to me. It came to me. Yeah.
Exactly. One can only imagine what's going through the heads of these players. Washington will get ready to inbound. They get it to Gaudet in the front court. Gaudet finds Redling Schaefer, and Sterling commits the foul.
I think that's who they wanted to foul. I think they were looking for the ball to get to Redling Schaefer. She's going to have to step up here and make a couple free throws for the Panthers.
And she hasn't shot free throws tonight, at least not I can remember. She's got 4 points.
She had the layup and that nice little mid-range jump shot.
Yes. First one is good. Another one that bounces 3 times off the rim and in.
Here's a huge one for the Panthers. You take a 4-point lead, you're going to force Sterling to score twice unless you do something crazy like foul that 3-point shot.
This is massive. Ainsley Redling Schaefer makes it a 2-score game. Timeout Sterling. The clock is running. The clock was mistakenly started. I'm sure they'll reset that back. But Ainsley Redling Schaefer
10.7 left, right?
bench.
I believe, yeah. 10.7,
Yep.
10.5.
I believe it was 10.7, so I'm sure they'll add that back on, or they put it at 10.2. So, but again, bigger story is 4-point lead if you're Washington.
Can you tell us how many timeouts are left on the board?
Just check the board. We got it from the crowd down in front of us. They can see the board. 3 timeouts left for Sterling, 1 timeout left for the Panthers. So if someone gets hung up with the ball, Panthers can get this back. If they can get hung up, you've got a timeout. You don't have to force something crazy or do something, turn it over with the ball. You can take that last timeout.
Yep. What you don't do here is especially if James is shooting, or really anyone, you do not foul on the 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do not foul on the 3, and again, I wouldn't even, sometimes you're up 4, sometimes teams like to foul, send them to the line the way they can prevent the 3. However, I don't know if I would take that risk, because you had a 6'3"
right.
forward that could potentially put one back up.
Now, you don't want to give them a chance to let them roll the ball up here.
And they will
Make
roll
them come
it
get
briefly. Here's a Monkwa.
Shooter coming through to the corner, inside to Austin. Let her shoot it.
Turnaround shot is up and good.
Timeout,
3.6 to go.
That's fine. So for the Panthers, the key here is, 1, obviously get the ball in bounds. You've got a timeout. You can run the baseline down there. Get it in bounds here. Make them come foul you.
Washington looking for their first state trip since 1977. And at that state trip, they played Sterling, none other, in the state title game. Lots of history in this matchup, and we're going to be added to it here tonight. It has been a phenomenal ball game with a state berth on the line. Again, the winner will move on to face the winner of St. Ignatius and Marian Catholic on Thursday.
I know I will date myself, but the girls that were on that team in 1977, I was not in high school at the time, but I will tell you that group of girls had multiple Division I athletes that went on to play various sports, basketball, softball, and so on. And it was well-versed in basketball. And this team follows that tradition to a T. I mean, Coach Barth has done such a great job with her staff. So inbound play is going to be important. And be strong with the ball. You want to make them foul you right away.
It'll be O'Brien to inbound. She's trying to look for tips. Gets it in. Gaudet gets fouled hard as 0.8 of a second come off the clock.
That's good. For the Panthers, you like for that little bit of time. I mean, there's always
you like that Gaudet's getting fouled,
yeah, absolutely.
too. She's got 23 unofficially tonight. What a massive game for the junior forward here in the playoffs. It's always been someone different for Washington. And most of the time in the playoffs, it's Ben Tibbs. But tonight, if Washington hangs on, they're going to be talking about Danny Gaudet. They're also going to be talking about 2 big free throws from Redling Schaefer. They're going to talk about a big rebound from O'Brien and some clutch free throws from her. Gaudet's first free throw is up and good. 2.8 to go.
This is the big one here. This one goes in. I think the Panthers can just stand still.
2.8 to go. G'day makes it 58-54. Panthers are that much closer, and those anxious faces in the huddle have turned
to smiles.
They are trying to they want to erupt right now, but they are trying so hard just to hold back that joy, just focusing for
We
this
know,
final
Coach. We know the
2.8.
game's not over. I know it's not over, Coach. I know it's not over.
But again, Washington can essentially just lay back. You maybe send one person up to challenge them if they try to roll it up the floor. You don't want to let them roll it, shoot it, and then still have
and
time
get away.
left.
I mean, I don't care.
But this is going to be tough.
Once the ball is touched, I'm saying stand still. Just get away from the basketball, because the last thing you want to do, like you said, the only thing that can happen is to foul a three-point shot that goes in. That's the only thing that sends it into overtime. Doesn't lose the game for your team, but it sends it into overtime probably. So this is a situation where the Panthers just have to make them inbound the ball and then get out of the way. 2.8, I know Sterling's got one timeout left, but that's going to be tough to get it up court, score, and get a timeout with much time left.
Here we go. Panthers on the verge of history. On a Monday night in Rochelle.
You know, it's funny. I know Coach Barth, from having coached with her, I passed her hometown, Mendota, on the way up here, so I would imagine a few of the Mendota people might have made the trip up to see it.
Here we go with the inbound. It's the Monquat. Gonna find somebody close to a 5-second call. Throws it in. Austin, 3-ball, no foul, no good. The Panthers have made history, and tonight they make a statement.
Great win, Coach Barth and her staff. I know how hard they have worked to get to this. Every team at this point has worked to it, but like you said so many times, the Panthers are a complete team. Yes, there's Avery Tibbs, but so many people made big plays. So many people did key things down the stretch that just huge for the Lady Panthers. The town of Washington, got to be proud.
58-54. The Panthers are going to state for the first time in 48 years. They advanced to 35-1 in an incredibly gritty effort. Sterling came back. They tied the game. They went ahead. Jocelyn James knocked down threes. Becca McDougal fouled out. And these Panthers will etch their names into the history books even more so.
Absolutely.
At Washington.
I think it's such a situation where, you know, we talked about this. The Panthers have been in close games. They've been in a lot of tight games. From the beginning of the year, they played Springfield High to a 2 or 3 point game in the Galesburg tournament at the beginning of the year. And you know what? Those kinds of games, this kind of schedule pays off.
100% as they bring home the plaque, and they're a mob of Panthers at half court.
You know, and
to be a Washington Panthers girls basketball player right now, I can't imagine the feeling.
I have such strong feelings for Coach Barth from having been on the sideline with her for so long. But, you know, the class that she displays just floors me night in and night out. She sends her 2 seniors. We talked about all the juniors. She sends her 2 seniors on the team out to get that super sectional plaque to let them raise it in front of the fans. So what a great feeling it is for those Panthers tonight, and a great season for the Sterling Golden Warriors. I mean, you can't discredit their effort tonight. I mean, they could have folded when they were down 6 or 7 there late, got a couple turnovers, and sent it into overtime.
What a game. It went to overtime, and again, this is just me speaking, just what my personal thoughts were at the time, but I thought, this game goes overtime again. That close game experience is going to help out Washington so much. Maybe they didn't want it to maybe be challenged so much, maybe in the game against Morton or maybe, in other games, but that really, I think, really came out big, especially when you don't have a veteran on the floor like McDougal. You're able to bring in a player like Adrian Donald, who, again, just kind of kept the momentum going, and just the Panthers did not get down on themselves, and that says so much about this team as they head and vie for a Class 3A state title.
And they'll have a chance on Thursday down at Redbird Arena. I mean, every team, you know, at the beginning of the year when you start that first practice, you talk about, hey, our goals. And, you know, getting yourself to Redbird Arena, I know it's been something in our program at Washington for years that has just always been in a goal that's always put on the board, posted on the bulletin board in the locker room. And, you know, I'm proud of Coach Barth and her staff and proud of her team for being able to make it happen tonight.
Yeah, a huge shout out again to Coach Barth. I mean, just what a program she's built at Washington. Coming into this postseason, they hadn't even won a sectional title, but they not only win the sectional, they win the super sectional, they could win a state title here. This team has just improved so much. They were already good. They have been
Absolutely.
good for a long time. This has been a long time coming. It's so well deserved. A fantastic community. I mean, I fully expect Normal to be painted orange and black on Thursday for their state semifinal game as they lifted up in the air again. Looks like that was their senior, again, Gabby Meischner. Again, what a special ride for them. And Gabby Meischner and Brooklyn Bowman, they're two seniors. You don't really see them on the court too often, but again, this is their final ride. The juniors have a chance to go and do this all again next year, but this has got to feel good for those two seniors.
There's never any guarantees. You never know what happens, who else improves, who moves in, who moves out, who gets hurt. All kinds of things happen, and you're never guaranteed. Yeah, everybody's back, but you know what? It's a situation where you better enjoy it right now while you can.
Unbelievable. Lots of smiles here from all the Washington faithful. A lot of iconic faces here. Daryl Crouch, Kyle Wisher, Herb Noblock. And Washington is a school that is accustomed to success. Obviously, they won a lot of state titles in wrestling just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
Finished runner-up in team wrestling. I mean, this has just been a fantastic winter for the Washington sports programs. And they get a chance to play not just one, they get to play at least two more games. Now, I won't even bring up the third place game because we don't even want to think about that right now. But the fact that they get to, you know, I know these players, they want to just be in the gym, be around each other, go back and be at practice again. You know, that's really special for these girls, and they get to at least have, you know, they'd have 5 more days of a season together.
Absolutely, and you know, when you're such a tight-knit, close group like they are, it only adds to that. I mean, you know, I've been on the sideline, player, coach, and everything, and you know, and there are times where at the end of the year you're ready to be done.
Yeah.
And this group is not. It's like you said. I mean, you see the excitement in every one of those girls. The ones that haven't been out on the court very much at all are the ones that play all 44 minutes tonight. I mean, they know this is what they've worked for. And, you know, I'm so proud of them and happy for the town of Washington, happy for Coach Barth and her program.
So Peoria has just one, but they have 2 state qualifiers in girls basketball after P&D, again, beat Stillman Valley earlier tonight, 67-56. They will face Mount Carmel. That's not Chicago Mount Carmel. They will face, there's a town called Mount Carmel in southern Illinois. They'll face state again. Washington will face the winner of St. Ignatius and Marian Catholic. We got to at least try to get a score update before we hit off the air. St. Ignatius led that game 30-13 at halftime. Again, the Wolfpack, number 2 team in Class 3A, so going to be a tough test regardless for the Panthers, but going to be some very fun games, and we'll be down there in Normal for plenty of coverage later this week.
Well, and again,
that game is at final. St. Ignatius wins at 51-31. The other games have gone final too. Lombard Montini 51-45 over Grays Lake Central, and Quincy Notre Dame 55-54 over Mount Vernon. So it'll be Montini and Quincy Notre Dame in the other semifinal. Washington, the only public school to make it in Class 3A to state.
Absolutely. Again, just another feather in the cap for the Panthers, and you know, it's a tough road to hoe, but the Panthers, you know, are such a good, tight-knit group that you know, we talked about it. It can be a different player on a different night. Tonight, Danny Gaudet leads the way scoring-wise, but, you know, it could be a multitude of people down there at Redbird Arena coming up on Thursday. So
It really could be. So many great players on this team. Our final unofficial tally is Danny Gaudet, 23 for Washington. Becca McDougal with 10, even though despite she fouled out. Avery Tibbs with 8. Bredling Schaefer provides 6, some big buckets and some great minutes for her. And same goes for Mazzy O'Brien, who also had 6. For Sterling, I almost ran out of room here for Jocelyn James, but I think she had about 29 is what my tally shows right now. Again, unofficial numbers. Phenomenal game for the sophomore guard. She kept him in it.
Yeah, anybody that was here to see it or is able to watch this game, if you ever want to know what it means to feel it, that's what that girl, she was feeling it tonight. I mean, there were shots that use, like you said, they're the ones with the 24-second shot clock, off balance, fall away, make a three-pointer that you're getting fouled on for a 4-point play. I mean, those big-time players from a sophomore.
Yeah.
From a sophomore.
Again, fantastic season for Sterling. Comes to an end at 30-6. Washington moves to 35-1. Before we wrap up, again, I want to thank Domino's so much for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. You can try out their brand new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza today. You can get it alone or part of its mix and match deal. You can choose 2 items for $6.99 each. Order now at Domino's.com. Well, that's about all we can say from Rochelle. A wonderful night for Washington, a historic night, and again, they make a statement. We will see them down in Normal.
Well, I got to do one thing. I'm going to give a shout out. I don't normally do this.
Go ahead.
But I think my dad,
yes, go right ahead,
in Ohio, is watching the game tonight. My brother texted me and said, hey, Dad's watching you tonight, listen to the game. So you know what? There's a former Washington resident, lives in central Ohio now, that's watching the game and able to see the Panthers pull out a victory. So, Dad, thanks for listening, man.
That's wonderful. That is really cool to hear. And plenty more of listeners that also tuned in as well. Again, all of you are very special to us, and we thank you for joining us. We'll be back at Normal for more free live audio coverage, plus way more coverage, too, on Clutch Sports Media Overtime and our social media channels throughout the week. But for now, I'm Jonathan Michael alongside Jeff Little. We want to thank so much for making the trip up here to Rochelle. And we are saying so long and good night. The Panthers are going to state after a 58-54 victory in overtime. Until Thursday, so long, folks. Have a great rest of your week.